Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Self-Love Society. This is the podcast for people who are on the journey of self-discovery and wellness with a dash of foolishness sprinkled on top. This is a safe place to learn, laugh, and discover your own individual path. Let us start the show.
Hey guys,
What
it do? It is Sai, aka In Care of the Love Girl.
And this is Tony Gillen, licensed professional counselor.
I promise y'all.
Every time I say my name, I think, okay, MED, period, comma, LPC, and a list of other credentials that I'm working on getting. I need to start practicing in the mirror. What am I supposed to say when I introduce myself?
Every time I try to drag my intro out as long as I can to prepare
So I can
you,
get my mind right.
every
Nope, mine
time
don't
it
be right.
never works. Every
Mine be
time
wrong,
I be looking at you and you still, I can't do nothing but laugh every time. I mean, I'll do the episodes in bed, and you still like licensed.
Tony?
Yes, you are licensed.
With a question
You've
mark,
been
like, I don't know my
licensed
name.
for quite some time. Jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh man, how you doing, T?
Man. Look here, man.
Look her, man.
Look here, man.
In my Terrence Howard voice. Look her, man.
Man.
Look her, man.
What can I say?
What can I
You know,
say?
you know,
Except you're welcome.
life is just
Sun, the moon.
life is funny, you know. You know, things just be happening. Yeah, you ever had so much stuff happen and you don't even be mad, you just laugh. You just like, wow,
Sometimes you gotta laugh.
this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous that it's funny.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh at
Oh
stuff.
man.
Because you have to be like, there's no way that this is serious. This has to be a cosmic joke that is happening. So I'm just gonna laugh now because I know God got some sort of plan for me, putting me through this crucible for no reason.
I just be like, all right, well, what's next on the next episode of Tony's life? I'm like, wow.
Find out what shenanigans we can get into today.
Cliffhangers is every week. Every day is a cliffhanger. So
Remember back when we was kids? I think it was like it's like middle school, elementary school, and it used to be on the radio. They used to have "It's Your World."
it's your world. Okay, that sounds familiar.
Don't you know you can? And it was like a little. Remember, like when we used to get on the bus to go to school.
What
And
station?
I think it was.
Was it the Breakfast Club?
No,
not the Breakfast Crew, like Tony Scott and Mark Clark.
I think it was like, and they used to have like a little, like a soap opera, but for.
That sounds familiar. So
And they used to be
familiar.
like, well, will so-and-so do this? Or will
that might have been
so-and-so
Tony
do
Scott
this?
and Mark Clark because
Find out the next time on It's Your World.
I think that was the Breakfast Crew.
And
Because the
listen,
Breakfast Crew used to be like the #1 morning show in St. Louis, and they used to have like Mickey Mouse come on, and they would make his voice, but he would like curse on the radio. They would have Dick Vermeil, who used to be like the coach for the St. Louis Rams.
yes.
And they would kind of do a caricature. I'm saying that wrong. I said that word. Caricature.
Yeah, caricature.
Of him, and it would make him insinuate that he was like gay or something. He was looking at the players in the locker room,
Oh, wow.
and like they would just do a lot of different voiceovers, and it would just be funny. It's kind of like what they doing now, like Ricky Smiley Morning Show.
Was it? Because Ricky Smiley
Breakfast
wasn't even
Club.
out then. So
Yeah,
I
they
had-
were on Comedy View at the time. They weren't doing radio at the time. You know, but Mark Clark, Tony Scott, Deneen Busby,
Yeah, that sounded about right.
it was a whole crew of them, and they used to have the morning show. I used to love getting on the bus in the bus driver had a radio, because every bus driver didn't have a radio. Some bus drivers you just had a regular bus sound. You like, dang.
Them rider buses was lit. Them
But you
was
get
the
on
ones
bus
that had
and then
all
the
the
radio
radios.
blur. You like, yes,
It's lit.
yes.
It's lit.
You get to hear the Breakfast Club and the Breakfast Club.
Tom Joyner. It says one of the most successful and longest running segments of the Tom Joyner Morning Show
You are right.
was a
It was
radio
Tom
soap
Joyner.
opera
I forgot
called
about
It's
him.
Your World. So many, I remember this.
I do remember that.
Apparently now it is on Amazon. You can listen to. We used to go. Our bus driver used to listen to it every morning, and the part that I used to always hear was well. And when they end the episode, they'd be like, "Well, would Stephanie take Tyrone back, or will Stephanie go and be with Ken instead. Find out next time on It's Your World.
That sounds so familiar. I didn't listen to Tom Joyner that much though.
Listen, I remember
Tom Joyner
that.
was like, so at one time it was just the Breakfast Crew, and then they had I want to say it was Ricky Smiley morning show. I think it was Ricky Smiley. It was Tom Joyner, and then it was Z1077. And
Was it then? Was it that back then? Or was it called something else?
You talking about Z1077?
I felt like it was called something else before it
I
was
don't
Z.
know. Z something. I don't know. That was like my second.
Because it was
always
Magic.
Ricky
It was
Smiley.
Magic 108.
Magic 108, and then you had Z1077. Then you had 104 You had 100.3 to beat.
100.3 to
And then
beat.
they added 104.1, which was odd. And then they had 95.5.
Yeah.
It was just weird. And then you had Gospel 1600 that I don't even
Yeah.
think is alive anymore because every time I put it on anything AM, I can barely hear it.
That's because the gospel channel is on FM right now.
It is?
I think it's 95.5.
I don't even know.
It's nothing but gospel rap on there.
Gospel, it's like Christian music.
It's like gospel rap.
Well, some gospel rap be kind of dope.
No,
but I don't hear it all the
listen,
time.
let me tell you something. Some of it be cool, but when they said Sue Whoop for Jesus, I was through with their
I'm
ass.
sorry, what?
They said Sue
Whoop
Whoop.
for Jesus.
The
Hold
man
on.
said Sue Whoop for Jesus.
Who was this man?
One of the rappers.
Let me see.
Let me tell you something. He said Sue Whoop for Jesus.
Oh my. Sue Whoop. How do you spell Sue Whoop?
I don't know. But when I heard it, I was like, I know that's what the blood
Whoop.
say. And you're trying to say the blood of Jesus. And when you're saying I'm Sue Whooping for Christ, I don't understand. I can't
Sue
understand. I don't understand. I really
Wow. Sue Whoop on Twitter. That blood. This N-word Jesus be Bryce blood. What?
don't. See,
Okay. I don't even know. Sue Whoop for Jesus lyrics. Let's see. Here we go. Lyrics. Mustard. No, that ain't the same thing. On God. It's a song called On God.
maybe that's it.
Is that the song?
Nah, this Tom Joyner, I'm trying to get that in.
Okay. This is Young Skeptics. Let me see this. So it says, let me see, Sue Whoop for Jesus.
What's the name of the song?
I'm trying to see if this is the right one. It's okay.
What's
I
his name?
don't think that this is a gospel song. Okay, maybe it is.
What's
This song is called Nobody Knows, featuring Young Skeptics. And it says, like, here's a lyric from Jez Dior.
hold on,
Dior or
hold
something.
on, nobody knows.
We can stay up in my crib and find places to put my hands. Oh, it was too true. Connect to you like a Bluetooth on some puppy love like it's Blue Clues. You put a spell on me like some voodoo. I take a blood oath for you like it's Sue Whoop. Jesus Christ, I mean cheese and rice.
No, that ain't the song.
No, this ain't the same. Oh, why am I reading this? This
How you
is
spell
crazy.
Sue Whoop?
So, I don't know. I just sounded it out. I used phonics. I went back to elementary school like my kids are doing right now. I should ask my son how do you spell Sue Whoop, see what he comes up with.
For real, cause at this point,
Anyways, so yeah, the radio shows. I used to love a lot of the morning shows in the morning, especially like when it was cold. And like, say for instance, you had to ride the bus, but like one day your mom or dad would take you to the bus stop and let you sit in the car.
the best.
That was the best.
What happened to rider buses? They was the shit. They had heat and radios on them.
I don't think I was a road rider. I rode Atlantic Express.
Atlantic Express was cool, but they didn't have a
What
heat.
do they have now?
I don't know, but they ain't got rider. Rider had heated, but not just that one seat with the heat on it. Whole bus had heat. And
I didn't like the heat.
ready. I did in the
Because they
winter
used to try
time.
to kill you. That heat would be blasting. You'd be in there just dying.
You know how I feel about being cold.
And what I would do is I would let my window down on the bus. Everybody would get mad. I'm like, look, I need some air because I'm dying. Because if I get overheated, my nose bleeds.
My nose bleeds too when I get
Where's
overheated,
the
but
soup?
at the same time, if I'm too cold, that's a wrap.
I would
for me.
rather be cold than hot.
Not me.
Now, I will say this. in terms of like weather, I would rather live in a hot climate. But if I'm talking about like living like in my house, I would rather be freezing and then I get a blanket to cover me up than be hot and be trying to find some coolness somewhere.
That's true.
That's for me. And some people love the heat.
No,
I don't like
I'd
it.
rather be cold in my house.
Because like I said, my nose when it gets too hot, my nose.
Because I'm
starts
gonna get a
bleeding.
blanket no matter what.
Ugh, with hot?
That's why I would rather be cold in my house.
Yeah, I got.
Because I'm gonna get a blanket. I need to feel like I'm smothered or hugged.
Uh-oh.
I need to
Smothered
feel
and
that.
hugged.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
See,
Don't put it out there.
no.
In Kiru, the love guru. You solicitation this.
I am not. Don't get in my
Soliciting.
DMs. I am not soliciting.
Please get in her DM so we
Please,
can have
God.
something funny to talk about.
Please, God, no. Don't do it.
I love DMs.
I hate the whole concept of it.
What? So,
You want to know what I miss?
what is it about DMs that are so like?
Cause it's like somebody coming to you straight to your face. You can't just be like, okay, that was weird, and walk away. You feel almost obligated to respond, or you're a fucking ass. But
Thing is,
I
like,
miss
a lot of. Go ahead.
I miss honesty box.
Why? Because you never knew who was talking.
That's
to you.
why I liked it.
Why. So you can talk crazy and nobody knows.
No, you say how you feel and move on. That way, if I didn't want to fucking respond to it, I could just be like, well, all right, they got out what they had to get out.
But what if it was? What if you? Because a lot of times, honesty box, it made you think, who said this? I want to know. Because you in your mind think it was somebody you liked. And
But
then
you
didn't
can,
know
but you
who it
can
was.
write them back and forth, and you can have a conversation with them. And if they want to reveal who they are, they can reveal who they are.
I never had nobody in my honesty box.
I had some people in my honesty box. I was in some people. I was in some people's honesty
I bet
box.
you was.
I would.
Look, hot tail self. I bet you was in
I was
somebody's
shot
honesty
back then.
box.
I was shot back then. I was definitely in somebody's honesty box. You'll never know now. You can't pull that motherfucker up to see. Be like, let me decipher. You
I
can,
just see a lot of women be like, I
That
hear
was-
I hear women say men don't approach them anymore,
but that's the reason why.
and
I'm
so the DM is actually a way to do that in this day and age.
yeah, but the honesty box was a way for women to do that.
But to deal with being
To shoot their shot.
but you're not shooting your shot.
I am.
You're basically blind. It's like catfish.
It's going blind
person
six.
don't-
It's going blind
But you don't
six
know
in the
who you
spade
talking
game. No, I know who
I
I'm
don't know
talking
nothing
to.
about. I don't know nothing about spades, so don't do the correlation.
It's a Hail Mary. It's like you already feel like you down, so I'm gonna give this Hail Mary.
So you just like, look, I'm betting 6 books no matter what. I ain't looked at my cards.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But this is the thing. It's like going blind. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. You know what I mean? And that way at least I got it off my chest. And if you respond positively, then I'm like, okay, all right. That may give me the courage.
Do I respond positively and I don't know who you are? Because what if you somebody I don't like?
Because the thing about it is, like, say for instance, I put in your honesty box. Y'all look up honesty box. Honesty box was a shit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, excuse my language, but I've been drinking. Anyway,
I'm in dreams.
so the thing about it is, like, you could, if say for instance, if somebody put into your honesty box, hey T, I think that you're rather attractive, and then you respond, thank you, I appreciate that, but currently I am in a relationship. Then that girl knows, okay, he appreciates my compliment, but do not pass go, do not collect 2,000, because people do not be putting on Facebook if they're in a relationship or not. You can literally have on Facebook you single and be in a whole-fledged relationship because people don't want their business out there like that.
I can understand that.
But at the same time, a lot of women are more, don't want to disrespect situations by a lot of women I know. I can't speak for all of y'all because some of y'all out here.
Some of y'all just
City
be
girl
like,
with it.
"Wow,
City girl with
he
it.
ain't
City
married.
girl
He
with
ain't
it.
got no
City
ring on
girl
his
with it.
finger."
Some of them like he married. I don't give a shit. City girl,
Yeah.
you know. But my whole thing is some women look at it and be like, okay, this guy is interesting, but I don't know what the situation is, and I don't want to be disrespectful, and so they may hesitate. And the guy may be interested in the girl also, but at the same time, he don't You know, it just loosens up it just gives courage. So if that woman do want to shoot the shot, it's not false.
It's like taking a shot and going to talk to someone.
No, but it's like practice. You want me to go to the game with no practice? This is like practice. I can go and I can get a feel for, okay, he's trying to. All right, I can go and say and see, test the waters, put my toe in. Okay, the water look cold. Now I can adjust myself and get ready for when I jump in. I'm not too shocked by the coldness of the water.
No, I don't know about that. I think you just need to go in the DM.
No.
Like, hey, I think you're pretty cute. A lot of times you can shoot your shot without actually saying that you're interested.
That's not true.
Most men,
women shoot their shot all the time without saying they're not interested in. Y'all miss
y'all
it.
just look at people.
That's shooting our
That's not
shot.
the same thing. I'm talking about at least striking their whole count. Like sometimes I can tell when somebody's interested because they strike up random conversations with me. I'm like, oh. So then it encouraged me to say, okay, let me shoot my shot back because I think that they shooting their shot. Let me return
Tony,
the
you're
favor.
one of one. Most men don't catch on to that.
I mean,
Most men just be like, oh, she cool.
I used to be that way too.
Most men are still that way.
I used to be that way.
So with that being said, it's like so many women have felt like they have shot their shot and the man just.
We just don't be, a lot of times, like I said, I think because also we live in a culture, so there are plenty of times where you think that a woman's interested and you like, they just being nice. Like, I didn't want all that.
That's
and so
99.9% chance that's me just being nice.
Yeah, and so when we see a woman being nice to us, we like, is she just being nice or is she interested? I need more information. And then y'all stop right there because y'all be like, well, I shot it, so that was it. And we sitting there like, I need more information. And y'all like, I gave y'all everything. So then we just disconnected. Or y'all get men that shoot they shot, but y'all not interested in them. You know,
Yeah,
I know.
but if he could be coming my DM in my honesty box and shoot his shot there, then he would know.
So you would rather a man shoot a shot in the honesty box than actually in the DM?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because then I could tell him in the honesty box that I am actually interested in one person already, or I'm not interested in dating, or whatever the case may be. And I
But
won't
if you're
feel,
interested in one person, how would that person know? How would you know that ain't the person that's interested in you?
because if I'm in my honesty box,
The honesty box can raise all this.
no, it don't. If I'm in my honesty box, I feel more comfortable because
No,
it's
but I'm.
anonymous.
Well, what I'm saying is, what if you're interested in one person and someone shoots their shot in their honesty box, but you don't even know if that's the person you're interested in or not? That could be the one person you're interested in actually in your honesty box, and you shut them down.
No, he would know.
How would you?
He would know because the person I'm interested in, I'm shooting my shot to, in their DMs.
Oh.
So he would know. And if he's in the honesty box asking me, and I'm telling him I'm already interested, I'm already working on somebody, then he would know. Oh, okay, I'm the somebody. Because clearly she's in my DMs. Honesty box just need to come back. I vote for honesty. Bring honesty back.
Don't bring it. I don't need to know.
That was
Tell
the
me
best Facebook extension of all time.
Well, nobody ever was in honesty box, so I didn't.
You didn't get to
I didn't get
experience
to
it.
experience the honesty box.
Honesty box was great. There's some stupid shit in there too.
But it's funny. It's cool. I don't need that. I don't need.
Somebody told me I had big ears. It's true.
Somebody just being goofy.
It was hilarious though. But it's true. I do have big ears. But I was like, hey,
Do you have big ears?
I do.
I
Well,
have
let me
that.
take my headphones out. So you
Oh
see.
dang! They just
They
paused.
I have
Took the
rather.
headphone off. They ear said, "Hey."
Listen, when I was in the second grade, I used to get teased. Like, you know how when you real, like when you a kid,
Oh, you keep teasing
the kids come up with the worst shit ever. When I was in second grade, this kid asked me if I was related to Reggie Miller because our ears were the same and we had the same last name. That shit
Damn.
crushed me as a kid.
Dude, that was the knockout. He was.
That was the worst. And then, you know, of course I got Dumbo, but that shit was worse than Dumbo to me.
Oh man, I got called every name in the book. Honestly, I hated that damn name game. Tony, Boboni, Banana,
B5 for Moni, Tony.
Tony, Baloney, Macaroni. I'm like, oh, y'all just, that's not even funny.
I'm just saying anything.
Just saying stuff. Just shut up. Let's go play kickball. Why you got make these
Nah,
funny jokes
let's
up?
go play Foursquare. That was my shit back then. Remember that?
No, we didn't play Foursquare at my school.
Shit, we had Foursquare, and it was a
It was
long.
either y'all was playing jump rope, double dutch, or every class was playing kickball. That
It
was
was-
the game
it was-
at our elementary school.
It was swings or Foursquare. It was a long ass line
Y'all
to
had
get on the.
swings?
Yes,
You was in the county.
I was in Rockwood. I was at
I'm
Babbitt.
gonna say we didn't have no damn swing.
It was a long line. That's why it wasn't no
we had an
kickball.
open field with. We just had a field.
He said y'all
We
had
had a
swings.
concrete field for you to go out and waste
We
your
had
energy in.
we had two rows of swings, and every time recess would go, oh my god, you got to be fast if you wanted to swing. That's how I ended up on the track team. You got to be fast, or you ain't getting no swing.
It was like ready to go.
Yeah,
The whole class just take
first
it out
come,
down.
first serve. That's how it was. And so you had to make a conscious decision in your mind: am I gonna run to the swings line or I'm gonna run to the Foursquare line?
Yeah, you
And
can't
Foursquare
hesitate.
was a whole thing, like because you get the person out. The whole thing is to make it to the King Square,
And then stay there.
and you stay there. So it was like a whole bragging rights thing. And me being a person that loves competition, I was like that. Or compete with the boys on who can jump farther off the swings. But once you jump off the swings, that's it. Because somebody else jumping on your swing.
Yeah, kickball. The only thing we had to argue about was who was first.
We didn't
So you
have
like, I'm
kickball.
first, I'm second. You're like, I'm zero. I'm silver spoon.
What the hell is silver spoon?
Something that we all decided that was better than one. I don't know. Everybody getting a kick, so why we even tripping off of it? Just get your behind the line and get ready to kick.
No, that shit was being first in line. That was the shit. Remember in elementary school, we just thought that was so important to be the line
The line
leader.
leader. Yeah, we just wanted
That's
some
so
kind of.
lame. We were so
just
lame.
wanted something.
I'm the line leader.
Can I pass out the papers to the class?
We just wanted to be in charge
just
so
wanted to do
bad.
something. Like you just didn't want to sit there. Like if y'all sit down, Susan, ask her to do everything.
If you don't sit your butt down, we just wanted to be important some kind of way.
Man,
Show the world that we are important.
yeah, childhood. So, did we check in with each other?
I asked you how you was doing, and then we went into this
Kind of went on this side. So,
because you said, "What is next on Life of Tony?" And I said, "This remind me of It's Your World."
we
And
went on a
we-
whole tangent for
we-
20 minutes. Well, just let me shorten it. I'm doing pretty good. I'm just taking life as it comes, just like normal. Like I try my best to focus on the stuff that I have control over and the things I don't worry about. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a training this week, helping families that are high conflict co-parenting,
Oh wow!
which is so funny because it's something that is currently that I currently have going on in my life, and so it's actually cool to be on the other side of it, like be from the therapist perspective of how to help other families deal with it. And-
Have the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I get a chance to see, like, okay, my ideas of how you do deal with high conflict co-parenting. What does that line up with when it comes to professional information? So I'm intrigued about it. Kids are out of school, and so now it's summertime.
School's
Now I'm
out
thinking
for
about, okay,
summer.
What am I going to do in terms of getting them active and being involved with things. A lot of stuff is closed until the fall.
Are any of them gonna do sports?
So they're doing a summer camp now. They're gonna be doing a summer camp until school starts back. But I'm trying to get them in the Y.
Oh yeah.
I know. The funny thing is, they both want to do different sports, but they all meet at the same time.
What do they want to do?
So Tony, my son Tony, he wants to do flag football.
Yes. Yes. Go T.
But then he was like, I would rather do soccer. He likes soccer too.
Oh, soccer's good too.
But then Torin, he wants to do baseball, but baseball isn't available for his
baseball
age.
is nice.
And so he said, what did he say? Soccer? No, he didn't say soccer. He might have said flag football too.
That's nice.
But, they want to do something totally different. And so I want to encourage them of that. So that's a challenge, but, we dealing with it. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. Taking everything one day at a time. I'm actually preparing for. I signed up this week to do a pop-up shop on Juneteenth, where I'm going to preview some of my products from a few of my businesses before I launch, so I can get kind of like a feel.
Not helping out with the fatherhood.
I am. I'm doing that. I'm doing
do both.
pop-up shops in the morning, the fatherhood things in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a very busy Juneteenth.
Yeah, hot too.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. And the
Speaking of that, I wanna be
pop-up
wearing
shop
shots,
is actually
shirts.
indoors. It's at the JC Supper Club. So
Why does that sound familiar?
it's like off, where Hall Street meets what's that, the River Road?
Yes, I know exactly what that
It's
is.
right there at that intersection. That bus stop is across the street. It's like right there.
Yeah.
That's JC Supper Club. So supposed to be going there with my friend DeMonica. She's gonna preview some of her stuff too. Demo,
Mo be singing on Instagram.
and then possibly
Looking so serious.
my home girl, the girl next door, Erica. She might be this
That's her moniker. The girl next door.
the girl next door, Erica.
Oh, okay. Girl next door.
And so she might be debuting some of her hair care products and things of that nature. So it'll be a cool little experience.
I would love to get like a lock piece. Like Kev on stage. He had that lock. I want to try it.
You should talk to Erica about
I
it.
wonder if she has like something that I could do. Just want to have long hair for once.
You should talk to her about
Shake
it.
my dreads like my kids.
Oh, what's the song where it says "Shake Your Dread"? What is
One of
it?
Lil Jon songs.
It is a Lil Jon song. It's in my
Talking about
head.
Nucky Me Up. Come in the club, shaking my dreads.
Yeah, come to the club.
I just want to dance to that for one time.
He said, "I want to feel authentic when I
want
say
to feel
it."
like I'm a part of the group. I can't shake my beard. That's all the hair I got.
So, with that being said, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but at the same time, I'm super excited about it.
Do your thing.
Stepping out, doing something different.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everybody sells similar products, but what sells is the person.
Absolutely.
It's the personality. It's the energy that you give off, and so let that be the thing that leads you. And then everybody, your products are going to be similar to a lot of other people's products, but you're not going to be the one selling their products. You'll be selling your products,
Absolutely.
so you'll stand out. So, just be
I
comfortable. Be
appreciate
yourself.
that. So this is a big hurdle for me. I don't think a lot of people understand. I guess I'll talk more about it when we get to July, but this whole journey and this whole venture is plenty of years in the making. This is something that I've been planning since I was 27 years old.
27.
So this is a long time coming. So to step out and open up what I'm doing to others, it's going to be a big moment. It really is.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see how it goes. So let's talk a little bit about our journal prompts and affirmations from last week.
Absolutely. So which one, you want to go first?
You
or
go
me?
first. Go ahead.
So the affirmations from last week were: I will make time to take care of me. I am responsible for me, so I will act like it. I prioritize my mental health above all else. Which one I latched on to the most was: I am responsible for me, so I will act like it. I latched on to that because a lot of times when we don't prioritize ourselves or we don't take time for ourselves, things happen, or we give our energy and our time to space to other people and they don't pour into us. So we feel some sort of type of way or whatever the case may be, and we feel like, man, I gave you all of this, why didn't you give me anything? So it's important for us to understand and realize that we are responsible for ourselves. No one else is responsible. Doesn't matter who they are, what position they hold in your life, how much they say they love you. It doesn't matter. You are responsible for yourself, your mental health, your mental wellness, balancing yourself. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you are good. Your responsibility.
It is.
And you got to keep that in the forefront of your mind always. And even if you are tending to your responsibility and someone tries to make you feel guilty for tending to your responsibility, you have to remember that it is your responsibility to make you feel well enough to be able to tend to anyone else. So don't feel guilty for tending to yourself, because there's nobody else's responsibility but your own.
You preaching.
That was the one that gravitated to me the most. What about you?
I will say I prioritize my mental health above all else. So it's funny because my kids are at the age where, my younger sons, they are at the age where they like to talk.
Talk.
Right? They just talk. They just ask questions. They say things to me. Daddy, do this. And Daddy, you are this. And Daddy, I did this. And it's all day. And so I am a type of person who I'm like, look, I'm a person that when I drive in the car, I don't turn the radio on. I just want it silent. I just don't want no. I might have my headphones in, might listen to a podcast, but for the most part, I just like to be driving silence. And so with my kids in the car, they like to talk. And so sometimes, if they've used up enough of my energy, I will say, hey, Tony, Torrin, Daddy needs a break from hearing talking. And so I need for us to be quiet for the next 10 minutes. And the thing is, a lot of people be like, why are you telling your kids to be quiet? And kids just like to talk, and you have to learn to deal with it. No, you can tell your kids. See, what I feel is, I believe that me doing this, it teaches my children to advocate for their mental health. And
boundaries.
Yeah, because they may feel like, because I've heard Torrin say, Tony, I don't feel like playing right now. I don't want to play right now.
Torrin is a whole mood sometimes.
He is.
Torrin be like, look.
He in his own world. He be like, look, I'm just doing my own thing. Tony
just let me be,
Tony
okay?
is everywhere. Tony is in your face. He want to know where everybody at in the house. He want to know, hey, how you doing? How'd you sleep? What you doing right now? I just want to see how you doing. I just came to check on you. Like, boy, if you don't get out of my room.
I can see Torrin saying, Tony, I don't want to play.
He's gone until he might pop up every once in a while. Now, a lot of times he do a lot of things because his brother. He's following his footsteps. But Torrin's by himself. He more than likely is just don't do his own thing. You won't even hear from him. And so, but yeah, I make it a point to advocate for my own mental wellness, even when it comes to my kids. And I think that teaches them in the same way.
I think that's important.
To advocate for themselves. So
I think it's super important to make sure that you are showing a good example to your children, or even if you have children that you are caring for that are watching you, on how to advocate for their mental health, because this world is nothing but pressure. The older you get, the more pressure you feel, because you have less people holding the pressure from you. So the older you get and the more you step into adulthood, you realize how much pressure this world can put on you. And if you don't know how to step away and recharge, you don't know how to create boundaries, you don't know where the recharging station is, you don't know how to do that, and you weren't taught how to do that at a younger age, then you're unfortunately in the same cycle that most black people deal with. You're forced to figure that out as an adult while the pressure is on you. You do a child a great service by teaching them that young. So when they step into their adulthood, they're not placed with that stumbling block that everybody else has, because I had that, you know what I mean? I had to learn how to figure out my mental health as an adult. I didn't have the luxury of learning that from my parents, you know what I mean? Because they didn't know, you know what I mean? As far as mental health, that wasn't something that was really taught in the black community, you know what I mean? So going away to college and learning more, taking psychology and learning more about mental health and how it affects us and different things, it helped me have a better understanding of it. So you good. And so I think the greatest gift any parent can do is to advocate for their child's mental health and to teach them how to advocate for their own mental health and to have healthy boundaries. I think that's the best thing you can do for a child, and not create more stress for them, obviously. But yes.
Yeah, I definitely love that. And it kind of goes along with the journal prompt, which was,
Yes,
what are
it
you
does.
doing to prioritize your mental health? What sacrifices are you making? And is it worth it? Mm-hmm. What was your thought on that this week?
So what I have been doing to prioritize my mental health, I have withdrawn from a lot of conversations. You know that I am a person to where I am very involved in with my friends and helping others and things of that nature. I have personally withdrawn from communication really with a lot of people these last few days because I know I got something that's coming up for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm preparing for this pop-up shop for me. I'm getting my mind right. I know that this is a big deal for me. Doing well, you know, being a borderline perfectionist, doing well at this is a big mental hurdle for me. So I can't afford to give away much of anything to anyone else right now. So that's one thing that I have been doing to prioritize my mental health. And it's a sacrifice because, like I said, I am very involved with my friends and helping them and giving them advice and things of that nature. And to basically withdraw is a big social charge sacrifice for me. You know what I mean? I think it's worth it because there's a bigger goal at stake for what it is that I ultimately want when I look at my happiness as a whole versus my happiness in this one moment. You know what I mean? I think that it is worth it overall to prioritize preparing myself mentally for this hurdle. You know what I mean? It's like jumping over. It's like doing the high jump and trying to get a new record or trying to reach a new height. You have to practice. So this is me stepping away is me practicing, building up my endurance for something that I know is going to be difficult. I know that it's going to be difficult now. So I'm not going to approach it with, oh, I should be fine. I've jumped over things before. I'm going to prepare myself so that way when I get to it, it seems like I'm just stepping over it because I've prepared myself, you know? So that's me.
That's pretty cool.
Yay! I did good with the journal prompt finally. I'm growing.
Yay.
Growing. We do it every day. We're going and oh, this is DeMonica, remind me.
That?
From Barney.
I don't remember that part. Anyways, what are you doing to prioritize your mental health, Tony? I would say for me, I have been making a conscious effort to make sure that I get more sleep.
Ooh.
And I have not done a great job of that, but I've been doing better.
Because I tend to stay up late. It's like when you're a busy person and you finally get a chance to like get quiet, it's like it takes you a while to wind down. So like my kids go to bed around 9. It's summertime now, so they try to stay up a little bit later. And so that takes away from my ability to really unwind and get to a place where now I'm ready to go to sleep. I feel like actually making myself go to sleep at a decent time is a chore. It feels like more work.
Not me.
You know, and I would love to just be like, okay, it's 9 o'clock, I'm going to bed. But that very seldom happens.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
It varies. If I have my kids and I got to get them to summer camp, I got to get up at 7. Like tomorrow morning or this morning, I got to get up at 7. So obviously, I ain't going to get that much sleep tonight. But once I drop them off, I'm definitely going to be going back home and going to sleep. And it's we don't have team meeting tomorrow either, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, yay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I ain't got to worry about that. So now I can sleep actually until my sessions start. Oh, I got my trainings. Dang it. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. But I'm going to try to get some sleep tomorrow. But tomorrow night, I want to make it a point to go to bed early. So I try to set goals like during the day, like, okay, tonight, no matter what, I'm going to bed at this time. And, you know, sometimes I'm able to stick to it, sometimes I'm not, but I try to be intentional. What sacrifices am I making? I mean, I think that sacrifices I'm making are getting other things done. Because when you're, as you are, you're a busy person, so you always feel like you always know you got things to complete.
Yep.
And so it's hard to like go to bed because you're like, man, I got this, and this to do. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta get this done. Yeah, and if as a therapist, I have so many people I got to call, and I'm like, oh, I did not call this person. But it's like calling takes so much energy, and I'm just like, man, I'll just talk to them tomorrow.
I'll talk to them when I talk to them. Feel me?
My life I have to sacrifice that a little bit. Is it worth it? When I wake up in the morning and I got a full night's rest, yes, it's worth it.
That's real though.
So
a lot of people be like, oh, grind, deaf to grind culture.
Sick of grind culture.
For real. I'm here for I'm here for balance culture. For real. I don't want to spend my whole life grinding and never appreciate the fruits of my labor. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think people, because of this fear of poverty and needing others for help, it causes us to feel as though we have to work ourselves to death. Like, work. We got to work. Okay, you got to take care of your money. Yeah, work. You got to do all that.
I'm going to work.
Because you don't want to be in a position where you can't do what you want to do. Like, you want to be in a position where you don't have any money to pay your bills.
Need somebody.
And it's like we push that onto each other and our children. And so, I really that statement of I'll sleep when I die, or like, wow,
No, I won't.
If you're gonna be successful, you gotta learn how to live without getting sleep.
Let me tell you something. One thing Cherie gonna do is get a nap.
Yeah, one thing I'm gonna do is get in that bed. So
you ain't gonna stop me from getting a nap.
Sure, you can try to.
You can try to stop me all you want. I could try to stop me. My body gonna do what it wanna do. My body gonna go. I'm gonna get that nap. One way or another, I'm gonna get it. I'm telling you that for sure. Right. Definitely gonna get that nap.
So yeah, that would be my answer.
So, what's on the agenda today?
Current events first.
Anything going on current events? What's happened? What's happened recently?
Bonnet Chronicles. So, have you heard about the Bonnet Chronicles?
So, I did see something about Monique getting on something and talking about how she's tired of seeing black women in the airports and out in public wearing bonnets and scarves and dressing in pajamas and all this stuff. Like, basically saying that, queens don't dress in that manner.
So what she wasn't saying she was tired of it as much as she got on there and she said, some of you have given me the title as auntie. And as an auntie, I feel that it is my responsibility to speak about the situation because I feel that it has gotten out of hand. She said, you show up at the airport and you see people in bonnets and flip-flops, house shoes and pajamas at the airport. And what she was saying was, if we are going to expect people to call us as queens, we need to carry ourselves as such. These are clothings and things that we should be wearing in the house. We shouldn't be wearing them out in public.
Right.
You have to conduct yourself and carry yourself in a certain type of way if you want for people to respect you in a certain type of way. You can't expect for people to call you a queen and you're not carrying yourself as such. That's what she said. People took it and remixed it and said something completely different.
But do you hear? You hear that though? Like,
I hear it.
Do you hear? Because so I'm a man, and I honestly,
I see
men don't really get a chance to
say
anything when it comes to
a woman,
but women can say as much as they want to about men. That's another story for another day. I'll say in this situation, it sounds like the argument that's used for people that, when they talk about women who dress a certain way and the attention that they get, and they say, well, if you don't dress so revealing, then you wouldn't get that attention, and if you want to be respected, you have to show yourself in this way. Or like people, rape culture, we say, well, if she wasn't drinking and stuff, then I wouldn't have did anything, but she was drinking, and so she should have known better than to put herself in that situation. Like, no, you're blaming the victim for someone mistreating her.
But I don't think it's a victim situation because what she's saying is queen, the title of queen. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect for a man to look at you and call you a queen, and you don't even carry yourself as a queen would carry herself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like
But
she's
you're
saying,
insinuating, but
but
not you,
it's-
but,
but
she's
it's-
insinuating
yeah.
that they're
From-
looking for men to call them queens.
most black women are. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that. This is the culture. You know what I mean? Yes, queen. Everybody is a queen. I'm a queen. Am I right? That's like the culture. You know what I mean? So what she's saying is, and yes, we are queens. And she said, but if you're coming out the house like that, I would have to say that you're not a queen. You're a queen in training. Because we have to reiterate and explain to one another that there is a standard and there is a way. Because basically what she's saying to these people is what people are saying behind their backs. Let's just keep it all the way funky.
Funky.
She was smart. She was respectful enough, in my opinion, to at least address the situation honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When typically, when in reality, a lot of people just look at the situation and just say foul-ish about people. Look at this motherfucker with the body. Oh my God! Look how she.
Right, look at
they
her,
take
look at
pictures of you, put you on Facebook, put you on Snapchat. Look at this. Look at her in Snap. Look at her in Walmart. look how she.
Oh, you see this girl
You
in
see
this
what I'm
line?
saying? Y'all act like y'all don't do that, but y'all mad because
do it.
Monique is. You see what I'm saying? You do it. But it's wrong for somebody to say, I'm not going to talk about you. I'm going to tell you to your face. I think that that's not wrong for Monique to do, because it's wrong for her. It's wrong for us to talk about her behind their back. But to tell somebody to your face, this is what people are thinking about you. This is what people are saying about you. You know what I mean? And if you are fine with people saying that about you, then that's fine. But don't get mad if nobody wants to call you a queen dressed like that. The reason why they're not calling you a queen is because you're not caring enough about how you present yourself in public for them to even honor you in such a way like
True.
that.
I understand where she's coming from. I guess the problem I might see with it is that
I don't know. It seems as though black people are always being told how to act.
Yeah, that was a statement. Angel, that chick Angel said on their podcast.
Shout out to that chick Angel
Yes.
and Kev on stage,
That's-
friends of the podcast.
That's right, but that was something she said on their podcast about the matter. She was like, this whole notion of everybody has a say on how black women are supposed to act, and I get that.
It's like, yeah, like they're always told how to act, how to behave.
But here's my devil's advocate to that. When is it okay to correct a black woman?
I think that it's okay
And
to correct.
who is authorized to correct a black woman, if not another black
I
woman?
think if we had a medium where we could talk to ourselves and no one else would know about it, I feel like it would be better because the whole world sees us do this.
The whole world seeing you with your
You know what I'm
pajamas
saying?
on.
The whole world sees us correcting each other, and so sometimes people who are out to victimize African American people, they see that as an opportunity they see that as further opportunity to victimize. Sometimes they can see that as a division, or
Right.
there's a division between people. Now we can exploit this. And so I believe if there was a way for us to be able to talk to ourselves within our community and no one else can know, I think it would be better. But because it's out in the world and the whole world sees it, now it's like, it's kind of like, you at a birthday party, right? And it's you and all your friends and cousins or whatever, and then your mama come in there while all y'all playing and then just fuss at you. And now you got to go back to the party like ain't nothing happened. Like, it's embarrassing.
But also, it's a correction.
So how can we correct?
But here's the thing.
I get that
I'm
point.
saying it's correction, because the thing about it is the reason why it is the way that it is because we have allowed this to go on for so long. Because there is no channels or whatever the case may be. But at some point, you have to understand, love comes in the form of correction also. And if you see, because you don't know what Monique hears in back corners or whatever the case may be, or what she advocates for on back corners. And it's like say for instance, you got a little brother. Okay, you got a little brother, right? And you going to bat for your little brother.
Okay.
You know, you saying, oh, my little brother's this, my little brother's that, blah, 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 blah. But your little brother does some crazy-ish, right?
He actually does.
You know what I mean? He does some crazy-ish. You gonna go and talk to your little brother and be like, hey, man, you gotta chill out because I'm trying to explain to these people. Because the reason why you're doing it is because if they say it, you gonna be ready to pop off. You won't be ready to pop off because you mad because they're saying it and there's validity to it. So you want your brother to correct it so that way it takes the validity out of the situation. So when an elder is coming to you in correction, this is the part in black community I feel like we have completely shied away from.
Oh,
when
man.
an elder is coming to you in correction, you know what I mean? You have to realize, see the heart in people. Understand that everybody is not trying to attack you. Sometimes people are trying to save you from yourself or save you because they've been here a little bit longer. They're trying to save you from something you cannot see.
That reminds me of this conversation that I had. I was at the dentist yesterday, and I was getting my teeth cleaned by this African woman. Her name was Miriam. Shout out to Miriam.
Shout out to Miriam, friend of the podcast.
And she is from Kenya.
Kenya.
And she was talking about the things that she sees in America versus what she sees in Africa. And one of the biggest things she said that she saw was that the younger generation has very little respect for the elders.
That's very true.
In America, like when it comes to African Americans, we don't have the level of respect that we need to have for our ancestors, our elders. Versus in Africa, they respect their elders. Doesn't necessarily mean they agree all the time, but they give them respect.
Yeah, you give somebody respect and reverence because the thing about the matter is just because someone is talking and giving their opinion and giving advice to you doesn't mean you have to take it.
Doesn't mean
But
you
when
have to respect their thoughts.
Respect the fact that they have lived longer than you.
Yes.
They have seen a little bit more than you. They may have a perspective that you do not understand yet. And they are planting a seed. Respect the fact that they are taking time out of their life to plant a seed into yours.
Yes.
And so when they plant that seed, you may not receive that seed at that moment. But in a couple of seasons, that might sprout and mean something very valuable to you.
Come at the right time.
But if you yank every seed that somebody tries to put in the soil out the soil, how do you ever expect to eat off of that?
True. And so when you have an elder like Monique, and she's saying, "Hey, young community, my young community, this is what we need to do. We need to do better when it comes to this."
She said it in such a sweet way.
I didn't have a problem with what she said per se. I just know in 2021, it's not going to be received in the way that it probably should be.
And then my other problem with this, my biggest problem with the whole situation is the fact that y'all just dogged the hell out of goddamn Derrick Jackson's wife for having a bonnet on. Her helmet of salvation. Y'all dogged the hell out of her. For real.
The helmet of salvation.
For real. You see a bonnet, I see a helmet of salvation.
Helmet of salvation. You see army fatigue. What did he say? I see righteousness.
Listen to how Miss Monique was speaking.
It took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say because I want to make sure I'm not saying it in judgment.
Okay.
And I want
She started off right.
She started with love.
From a place of love. Y'all, some of y'all have given me the title of auntie.
Auntie.
And I'm honored that y'all do that, right? But there are times where auntie gotta talk to her babies and say some real shit. So, yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta because I'm in Jackson, Mississippi now at Chuckles Comedy Club, right? And we got 3 shows tonight. We got a matinee at 5:30, then we got 7, then we got 10, right? And I'm excited. I always love going to the stage. So when we got to the airport yesterday, I was excited, like, all right, baby, let's go get him in Jackson, Mississippi. And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count, and too many for me to tap. But I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough shit out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it. So my sweet babies, for the ones that do call me auntie, I love you for real. Even the ones that don't, I love y'all asses too. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So I'm just giving y'all a warning. If I see you in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on, and you got slippers on, and you looking like, what the fuck? Aunt Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you worth. Show you what you deserve. So all of those posts that you see celebrities putting out there saying, hey, queen, hey, queen, hey, queen, well, can we start putting it into action? So I'm asking our wiser sisters, when we see our little babies out there looking like they just don't care, and I'm not saying y'all don't, it looks like it. Can we just tap them and say, baby girl, you deserve more than what you're showing. Represent you with pride, my babies. And that may be a part of us helping our community. Because if you look like you don't give a damn, how you gonna be treated? So, when I say, hey, queen, I can only say it to the sisters that it belongs to. Because a lot of us are still in queen training. So if you're in queen training, stop being fearful of taking your position. And queens don't walk around with bonnets and headscarves and slippers and pajamas. That's for the house. When you go outside, represent you, baby, like you are worthy and you deserve the title of Hey Queen. Aunt Nikki love y'all for real, and I ain't never gonna BS you. Stop wearing them damn bonnets and headscarves looking like don't nobody give a damn about you, nor do you give a damn about yourself. Because you beautiful. So represent it. I love y'all for real, my babies.
To me, that's correction. That's loving somebody in correction. I feel like people are blowing that way out of proportion. They're making it more than what it is. Like, even people was attacking her. It was like, how she talking to us and she got a robe on? Like, and it's just like, y'all, like, when is it okay to correct you then?
When do people first acknowledge what a person said before they go to on the defensive? It's like, how about the first thing that comes out of your mouth after what she says is, well, what about your gray robe on or your outfit?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. How about we address the information she gave? You critique her afterwards.
Because the thing about it is,
information, was it correct?
Right.
Do you
And
agree?
the thing about it is like, if it's never a good time to critique you, then don't get mad when you say, well, the black community won't come together. We won't come together and raise it. You won't allow us to.
You want things to be your way.
You want want your cake and
you want
eat
the
it.
community when it serves you.
Yes.
You don't want the community when it's time to correct you.
Exactly. And it's like, people be like, well, you know, that ain't none of Monique's business. That's fine. But don't look at Monique and be like, well, why you ain't reaching back for the community? Because that's none of her business.
Right.
You have to make a decision. At some point, you got to make a decision. You can't be like, oh, well, it's none of your business when I do whatever I want to do.
Right.
But
Right.
like she was saying, she wasn't even just, she said something to everybody in that video, but all people heard was Monique don't like bonnets.
Right.
She said
That was the
even,
headline.
Yeah, she even said in that video to some of our wiser, older sisters or older queens who know a little bit better. If you see anybody, I'm challenging you to reach out and help. She basically put what you were talking about. She put a call out to women in the black community to, we need to step our shit up. We need to hold ourselves accountable as women, as a collective. And they was like, oh, hell no. Accountability, we not doing that.
Yeah.
We not doing that. It's too close to Hot Girl Summer. What you talking about?
Oh yeah, hot girl summer ain't gonna be no.
I'm trying to be flued out, and my lace front got to be right when I touch down in Miami and Atlanta. What you talking about?
Yeah, I don't even know what hot girl summer means because the things out here people say, it sound like you gonna do stuff you regularly do. I just don't understand the difference.
Hot Girl Summer is like throwing. It's like Girls Gone Wild for our generation.
Oh yeah.
Remember Girls Gone Wild?
No, I remember Girls
that's
Gone Wild.
that's what that's the equivalent of Hot Girl Summer.
Yikes! So they gonna be out on the beach flashing,
Yeah, doing you
showing their ass.
It's like it's like what happens in Vegas happens in. It's like this summer. It was a hot girl summer. That's why I was doing. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing behind it. But it's like y'all been hot girl summer even in the fall and winter and the spring.
I don't know, but I agree with correction. You know, I think that, like I said, 2021, people have a hard time being told that they're doing wrong. They want to be patted on the back. They want to be encouraged. They don't want to be corrected.
I feel like I would be more apt to be on a lot of these people's side if y'all didn't just dog the shit out of Derek Jackson's wife. Y'all dogged the hell out of that woman. They went in on her and she didn't have nothing to do with. She was getting cheated on. She didn't do anything wrong, and she
was victim blamed.
And they just dogged her. At least she could have did was combed her hair.
Now
exactly.
Oh,
now
it's
somebody
okay to talk bad about somebody because they got a bonnet on.
But they did that first. And now that Monique's turning the mirror on you, it's a problem. Monique need to worry about herself. Why y'all wasn't worried about yourself when this woman was processing that her whole life was falling apart?
Yeah.
And her husband dragged her out of her bed and put her on a damn video just to save his career. Get me started.
It did not work. I should go back and read some of the funny quotes.
Man.
He did a video on himself.
And out of that whole video, what y'all got was she could at least put a bonnet on. Took that bonnet off. Y'all spent that whole video dogging her about her bonnet. And then when somebody say something to y'all about y'all bonnet.
Some people like, I see why he cheated.
Yes.
Because look how she looked. So you're saying that she's being disrespected because she didn't look like it.
She wasn't the queen in.
And it's the same thing exactly that Monique said. But what Monique said is an issue.
The reason why Monique's saying it's an issue because Monique is pointing the mirror at you. When the mirror went up at you, you was ready to go ahead and with everybody else and talk. Y'all destroyed that woman. Y'all talked so bad about that woman. She got on there and started defending herself with the fruits of the spirit. You see a bonnet, I see the helmet of salvation. You see a cloak, I see the breastplate of right. She had to get spiritual on y'all. Right. Y'all was bullying her so bad.
Right, but in the video, what even about her?
And y'all was bullying her in a horrible way. Y'all made memes and all kinds of shit. Yeah, Monique got on there and said, "My sweet babies, I love you."
She came on there as humble as she possibly could.
As humble as she possibly can.
She trying to judge.
Nah.
Wasn't this the same woman that did Precious? You talking about a role that she did for money? Movie role?
They talking about her robe. Like in that video.
No, I'm saying people mention how she was in Precious. Why would you do that? That's a representation of you. Why would you do that?
I just feel like it is a big reflection on people not having self-care in themselves and expecting the world to build up their self-care for them. And when someone doesn't agree with what they're presenting, they want to bash the world. And I feel like that is a big part of our culture right now. Nobody wants to take accountability for self. Nobody does. And when anybody says that, I'm pretty sure people will be blowing up this motherfucking post telling me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm ready for it. I got my helmet of salvation. I got my helmet of salvation. I ain't worried about it.
Yeah. Why do you think it is that, are we talking about black people, black women? Are we saying black women? Or are we talking about people in general?
She's saying anybody who coming out the house like that. She didn't necessarily say black women. She was saying,
so
she was
this
saying,
is geared towards all women. Is that what you're saying?
She said this
we
is.
talking about bonnets and scarves.
She was
Most
saying
white people are not wearing bonnets.
Some of
and
them
scarves.
are.
Most though. When we
But
talk,
some of them who want to be down with the get down.
I feel like she's addressing this more towards African American. Now, if she's not, then that's cool.
What she said was, this is for anybody. But she said, especially to the ones who call me auntie. That's what she said. She said, this is for anybody, but I'm specially speaking to the ones who call me auntie. Who has given me that title of auntie.
Title of respect.
So in other words, if you don't call me auntie, you shouldn't even be commenting about this anyway.
Right.
Take it as a grain of salt.
We from a different culture.
We from a different tribe. We just from a different. Even if you black and you don't call me auntie, you don't revere me as an elder like that, then you shouldn't even be on here. But you on here because a hit dog gonna holler. You throw a rock in a field of dogs.
You like, I gotta go on there so I
Yeah, because I feel offended. I feel attacked. So I have to go attack back, and it's like she wasn't talking to you. She said it very calmly and slowly at the beginning, but you out here clowning and hollering anyway.
So my original question, and I guess I'm gonna aim, because what I see a lot of is black women, but we can't aim this at all women. Why do you feel that all women have such a hard time processing what she said?
Because it's correction.
But dig deeper there.
I think that we have been brought up in a society that gives us whatever the fuck we want whenever we want it. And historically, when we don't get what we want, we yell and scream, and then we get what we want. So when that is the pattern of what you do, when problems come up that you don't like, you just repeat the pattern. Rinse, repeat. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything that we don't like, we raise hell about until people get tired of us talking. And then just say, shit, just give it to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. But the problem with it now is that you have people who are not afraid to go back and forth with women right now. You have people who are not afraid to say, no, what's wrong is wrong.
Right.
And a lot of women are not used to that. They're used to people giving up. They're used to being able to shame people into what they want them to do. You know what I mean? And when people are not, taken down by the shame, then you get angry. You throw a fit. You result to name calling and all of that. You know what I mean? Because you're upset because you're not getting your way. So
This is true.
I think that that's a woman issue, period.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, that happened, and I actually, as a black man, I try not to get involved in those conversations because
It's not wise for you to.
It's not my battle.
It's a party. It's a part of your value.
Unfortunately, it should be a situation where both men and women can comment on,
But it's not.
different things because we all are part of a village, per se. But in this day and age, I'm speaking as a black man. It's very hard for. Like, I got into it with some people on Facebook because of breastfeeding. I posted a post championing breastfeeding children. And how important it is. It's the best form of feeding for a child. For baby is for them to nurse from their mother.
Yeah.
And that's for any species in the world.
That's right, because they also absorb antibodies from the mother's milk that help to build up their immunity.
Yeah. And the thing is,
That's
I commented
something you
that
cannot
people
get
got
from
on there,
Similac.
people got on there talking about, well, I had a hard time breastfeeding and I had all these issues, and
Because people feel personally attacked.
it's like, no, what I'm saying is that you tried. You tried to breastfeed your child. It didn't work out, and that's okay. I'm not saying that you're bad. What I'm saying is that breastfeeding is the best option. It's the healthiest option for a baby.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that everybody does it.
I just feel like,
It's like saying, like, it's very healthy for you to eat a salad every day.
but everybody don't eat
But
one.
everybody don't eat it. But they don't change the fact that it's healthy.
Yeah, because the thing about it is a lot of people, period. Because men have this issue too, but mostly women. And I say it because I'm a woman. I got ovaries and I can say it.
Oh, he takes it.
But
Nothing.
but mostly women have an issue and a problem with what's happening.
No, he was chasing some kind of
Bug.
bug.
Oh, okay.
He got it though. She got it. I think so.
Oh no. Yeah, little millipedes. Anyway, what was that? What was
He's talking about breastfeeding and.
But I think the problem with most people is when things don't fit you, or when the status quo or whatever is being stated, whatever statement is being made, people feel personally attacked by things, and people don't know how to deal with things that convict them. People don't understand conviction and how to deal with it. And it is a telltale sign, in my opinion, of a lack of personal self-worth and self-work. If you haven't done any inner work on yourself, then anything that is said on the outside of you will always make you feel one way or another. You know what I mean?
True.
But if you know who you are on the inside, and when things convict you, you won't feel like that person is attacking you. You will understand that that person is being nothing but a mirror and showing you places and things that you need to work on.
Well, people also like to take their individual experience and they like to generalize it. So, say for instance, I come out there and say, "Man, I think cereal is amazing. I love breakfast cereal, cold breakfast cereal. I love breakfast cereal." And somebody gets on there and say, "Well, I had breakfast cereal and I got sick from it, so I can't eat it, so it's not great." It's like, well, your specific situation is catered to you. It's not catered to the general public likes cereal, which is why they sell it so much. But you had a situation where cereal was terrible and you got sick, so you don't eat it. That doesn't mean that what I said is wrong. It just means that it didn't apply to you.
But that's why I'm saying that to me is a big sign of you don't have no self. You have not worked on yourself. I made a statement about how I felt, and you
like
felt
to be right.
some sort of way. I made a statement about how I felt.
Right.
That's what Monique did. She made a statement about how she felt.
Yeah.
And she wasn't talking to you. She made a video. She didn't come in your house and knock on your door and look you in the eye and have this conversation with you personally. She made a general video and you felt personally attacked by it. Instead of taking that situation and saying, why does this trigger me in this way? Why does this make me feel some sort of way when this person don't know me and is not talking to me?
Yeah, I don't know.
That is an indication that you do not do self-work.
Yeah.
You would just rather attack the person because you do not know how to look at the situation and say, that made me feel some sort of way. Let me go within and figure out why that even bothered me. That shouldn't even bother me.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
But it did. So I'm glad that she said it, because now I know that this is an issue. This is something I need to work on.
One thing that I try to do with people and clients, when you have people who have a hard time dealing with someone else's perspective, point of view, is I always try to encourage people, like clients, that just because someone has a differing opinion doesn't mean that they're right. But it doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means that they have an opinion. Just cause you can perfectly say, I can understand your perspective.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but I understand where you're coming from.
Absolutely.
And you retain your opinion.
You retain your
also
energy.
Make room for someone else to have their opinion.
Absolutely.
And you walk away from the conversation.
That's
still intact with relationship.
That's a healed person that has done inner work.
Yeah.
That's a healed person, T. That's what I'm saying. Like, these people who are... You want to know why stuff like that? Let me tell you something. Newsflash, women, y'all finna hate me after this. I don't care. Hate me. Whatever. You want to know why men don't get pissed off about stuff like this? Most men do not get upset about things like this because men are accustomed to hearing correction. Everybody corrects men. All the live long day. Everybody, every person, every self-help, whatever. The topic is always men. What men is doing wrong. What they doing this. Men have spent more time with listening to people speak about things that they need to correct. So they have more practice with how to deal with it. That's why it doesn't bother men. Because they've practiced. Women, people tiptoe around women all day long. I don't want to say that because you know how they gonna do. There's literal Facebook groups right now, private Facebook book groups that people are in right now where they can post stuff because they don't want to offend people privately.
I don't know, because I remember when Jay-Z had that line about everybody having the money phone instead of taking that money and taking pictures with it and investing in it and making more money. And a lot of guys was like, man, I'm about to take my money and do whatever I want with it.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that men don't get upset with it, because men do.
Okay.
But I'm just saying men deal with it better because there are more people that correct men than there are correcting women. That's my point that I'm making. You don't have many people. I can name you 5 people right now who correct men on a day-to-day basis.
I can understand that.
I could probably only name 2 that correct women. And one of them is Kevin Samuels.
Friend of the podcast.
Child.
Kevin Samuels.
But men, let me tell you something. Steve Harvey correct men.
Steve Harvey.
Oprah.
Shout out to Steve Harvey.
The only other person that I think might correct women is Ayanna Van Zandt.
Oh yeah, she correcting everybody.
For real.
I don't even like her for real.
I don't like her either. But she said not friend of the podcast.
No, she's a friend of the podcast. Come on through, Ayanna.
Not if you're gonna be hollering.
Yeah, I don't do the hollering though, but I'll listen. I'll just listen to you talk.
But it's like you don't have a lot of people correcting women. And every person that does correct women, they have to do so at some sort. They got to go through the gauntlet. Steve Harvey wrote a whole 2 or 3 books correcting men.
Actually, he was correcting women.
No, not really.
Because he was talking about how women can get what they want. So basically, he was using women's desire for a relationship to manipulate men. And so they would see men who were this type of way, and he gave them a manual on how to get them to better behave.
Yeah, because he was saying that men are incapable of behaving.
Which is why I'm saying, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
You see what I mean? Like, everybody is just like,
this is confusing to me. I don't even know what's happening.
I just feel like people need to stop taking stuff so personally. You don't know this woman. This woman do not know you. Why are you on here whole rant about what Monique said about bonnets? And you know damn well that you and your good girlfriends then talked about several people in Walmart with these bonnets on. You have done it. You're not gonna act like you have not done it. You have done it. You have definitely done it. Every person has done it. True. Nobody wants to see the person with the bonnet in the Walmart. Nobody wants to see that. And not only have you done it, not only have you seen it, you have assumed things about this person because of it.
You laughed at it.
You laughed at it. Y'all got private groups about it.
Right. What's the video about? Well, not the video. The meme about the woman in the store. They like comment in 3 words, and the woman got like pajamas on, or she got like her butt out,
Oh yeah.
But like people are always making fun of people, but they don't want you to say nothing about them. That don't make sense. It's backwards. Very backwards. But I understand. Like I said, at the end of the day, I understand where Monique was coming from. I think in the year and times that we are in, it's just any time that you make a comment against a group of people, and she spoke against women, and so women, it's already a very marginalized group of people in the United States, and then you add in the sectors of like women of color. You talking about black women, and so anytime you say anything that's trying to denigrate people, especially like women or black women, it's not gonna be taken correctly, which is unfortunate.
I just feel like we need to spend less energy on getting mad at Monique for talking about bonnets and more energy on what's going on down in Texas, and they're trying to remove people's ability to have abortions if they've been raped or whatever and things. Then we focus on the stupidest shit.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like there's a whole situation that's going down where listen, Texas is off the chain right now. They're literally trying to take away the ability of, they trying to turn it into The Handmaid's Tale.
Never seen the show.
It's horrible.
It was good.
It's horrible. It's good and horrible at the same time. It's horrible, the thought of what radical people could do to women. You know what I mean? But we worry about stupid shit. A bonnet, that's so insignificant to people's organs in their womb. And carrying something that you feel like you can't be connected to, or that you're not ready to provide and take care of, just because your government says you have to carry it. I think they say like they're canceling. They're trying to cancel all abortions after 6 weeks. Some people don't even know they're pregnant at that time.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's insane.
I don't know. I just don't. Now, every time the government tries to enforce something, I'm always like, okay, clearly they don't care about the wellness of the individuals. So what's the reason? What are they trying not to deal with? They're either losing money or they are trying to gain money. What is it that they're doing? Because to fight so hard against abortion, it's not a moral issue in the government.
It might have to do with birth rate.
Birth rate, okay.
Because we're not having as many children as the generations before. A lot of people are not having kids because of student loans. We can't afford to have no damn kids. So house sizes are smaller. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People may have 2 or 3 kids. Where like back in our grandparents, they was having like 18, 19 fucking kids.
They was like, oop, another one.
They was like, hey,
this month.
What's up? We're gonna call you baby 6.
Right.
Hey, like nobody's doing that.
Yeah, people are like, I'm not doing that no more. I'd rather save my money up and be able to do whatever I want, travel or buy whatever I want.
Right, inflation, debt.
But that ain't mean they ain't having sex out here and not even having sex unprotected. But this case, you talking about women
But that's why they upset about the abortion thing, because they like, y'all out here having sex, and then y'all don't want to carry the babies that y'all having sex for. Yeah. But it's like, if somebody is not, my whole thing is it don't even, and I'm not a person. I don't think that I would personally get a abortion, but I try not to say never, because you never know anything. But I believe in. I don't know. Like, I love children and I believe in life. You know what I mean? But I can understand why a person would get an abortion. And I don't believe in forcing somebody or forcing my beliefs on another person if they are not mentally able to take care of their child. I would rather them do what is best for them than for them to bring a child in this world and damage the shit out of it.
I don't know. I have a little issue. I think as a man, I've always felt this. Well, I haven't, not always, but I felt this way for a while. I feel like, so we talk about women and their bodies and having agency over their bodies. And that women can, if they want to decide to get an abortion, if they want to decide to have a child, that is entirely up to them, and no one else can help them make that decision besides them, right? And we can all agree on that. Okay, that's your body. You make whatever decision you want. I feel like men don't get a say-so when it comes to their mindset, because now they are financially obligated to that child.
So there is a post on Facebook that goes perfectly with this. If there is
I feel like if women have the ability to choose or not choose, or choose or not to choose to have a child, I think men should have the right to sign a paper during pregnancy that says that I will be there to take care of this child, or I will not be there to take care of the child. I do not want to be financially obligated, or I do. I think men should have the ability to choose as well. I don't think that women get to choose over their body, but then the man has to be he has to suffer the consequences of their decision. Now people could say, well, they decided to lay down together. The woman did too, but she gets the choice.
Yeah.
The man should have the choice as well. If we're gonna do that, if we're saying, now personally, if I have a child, I'm taking care of it. You know, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what I'm saying is, if a woman has the choice legally to decide if she's going to have a child or not, I think that a man should have the option, similar option as well, of whether they want to continue to take care of it.
And that's a whole Facebook debate that's going on right now. And it was saying that it was in the argument in the debate was that it's no different. It's no different. A woman having an abortion is because she felt like she wasn't ready to take care of a child is no different than a man walking away from that child when the child is born because he felt like he wasn't ready to be a father. And to no surprise to me,
and he's labeled a deadbeat.
Yeah.
He's denigrated for it. He's made out to be a terrible person.
Yeah.
Whereas a woman is to be given sympathy.
Yeah.
It's okay, baby. And, you know, we'll get through this. And you did what you thought was best for you. Get sympathy.
Yep.
You know.
It's
unfair.
And to no surprise to me, everybody was in the comments going all off. Nice try, that's some BS, blah, 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 blah. It's not the same. He didn't carry that baby in his body, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. You're missing the point. This goes back to the whole situation of correction. You chose to carry that baby in the body. And you choose whether you don't want to carry the baby in the body.
People listen to respond. They don't listen to understand.
People just want everything their way. You can't say that you have the right to have an abortion and that man doesn't have a right to that man is stuck no matter what.
Stuck. He waiting on your decision, basically, and he don't have no say so.
I just don't understand why, especially so many people who claim that they're feminists. I just don't understand for the life of me that you just refuse to give equality to men. I don't understand it.
I don't feel sometimes I feel like feminists, not all, but I think a lot of feminists want equality where it serves them.
That's what I'm saying.
Where it doesn't serve them, it's like, it's whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want equality and you're saying this is the issue that you're fighting for, then that issue has to be on the table for both sides because you want equality. That is what equality means. You can't say I want equality and I should have a right over my body. Okay, that man should have a right over his body. And if his body doesn't want to be chained to your body, then he shouldn't have to be chained to your body.
Shouldn't have to, but that's just the way of the world.
I just feel like it's crazy. And I feel like anytime anybody speaks up against it, we gotta attack them now. We gotta murder them dead. You know, how dare.
Sometimes I wonder what would it take,
especially if you're a woman.
What would it take for us to be able to have something like that legalized? I wonder about that.
What?
Like the whole idea of that men get to choose from now on.
Death to a lot of they're over their dead body. They ain't never letting that happen.
I'm just wondering what would it take for a group of people to bring that to legislation to be voted on. I don't know. That's just what I think.
Because I just feel like you just cannot have it both ways. It says, if you praise a woman who aborted her child because she did what was best for herself, then I hope you praise men for abandoning their children because they did what was best for themselves.
I like that. I like to say that.
I send it to you. And it's 219 comments on here. I'm not finna read all of them. But people on here upset. Nice try. At the very least, it should be compared to men who walk away to the woman. Men who walk away to the woman who give their kids up to DCFS to utilize safe havens and drop their babies off at random hospitals or fire stations. That's not the same thing. A woman giving their child up because they feel like that they can't provide for their child, I feel is very responsible. I don't feel like that's the same as somebody abandoning their children. But abandoning your children and aborting your children, to me, is very similar. Both of y'all didn't want the baby.
Right.
So I just feel like a lot of
rules,
people they just don't want to look that in the face.
You do. So, what else we got on the docket?
Topic of the day: purity culture. Do you know what purity culture is?
No, educate me.
Now, let me give you a little history about purity.
Education.
Purity culture.
I know what purity is, but what is purity?
It says social purity as a movement took roots in the mid 1800s in England, and it was predominantly led by evangelistical woman Jane Ellis Hopkins. Purity culture as a subculture of the evangelistical Christianity that peaked in the 1990s, with young girls pledging to their fathers to abstain from sex until marriage by wearing purity rings, is still present to this day. For some, holding to their faith and maintaining God's standard is very important. Not only does it allow for individuals to follow the path that God has set for them, but this level of purity and abstinence also helps with the development of consciousness, self-control, and respect for themselves and others. So that's a brief description of what purity culture is.
Okay.
So, I'm going to go into this first question first before I get to that. Do you think purity rings are still valid? Like for daughters and fathers?
I would say yes and no. I think that it depends on the family. I think that it depends on the child and where they are at mentally and spiritually. Because there are some parents who get along so well with their kids to where they have a common understanding about how they do things in life. And so, but do I also think that should be forced upon kids? No, I think that kids should be given the decision. Like I feel like God gives us a decision to influence our own lives in different ways. And if we choose to not do it, then we choose not to do it. But to try to put this imaginary leash on each other, I feel like can be negative. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Do you think purity culture can be toxic or unbalanced as you step into adulthood?
Think about that for a minute. What you think?
I think absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Because I lived it. I went through purity culture growing up. You know, I didn't do the promise ring. I mean, the purity ring thing my cousin did. You know, she had a whole cotillion and everything. But I lived that. You know what I mean? I lived the whole carry yourself a certain type of way and blah, blah, blah. Things that they tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what's interesting?
What's that?
So, okay, we can start with like the birds and the bees, right? A lot of children are taught that at a young age, which is great because you are learning about your body, you're learning about the things that you were blessed with.
Can I say something random?
What?
Why do they call it that?
With the birds and the bees?
Yes, it makes no sense.
I don't know. Why do they call it the birds and the bees? Let me see.
Like, it makes no sense.
Because the birds and the bees have nothing to do with each other.
They have nothing to do with each other. Or what it's talking about.
Ugh.
I just feel like my kid gonna be the kid that asks me that when I have kids. Mom, why do they call it the birds and the bees? I don't know.
Okay. Oh. They said, according to tradition, the birds and the bees, and this is from Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not necessarily a site you want to use for like essays and research papers, but it's actually a good site for learning information on the go. But it says, according to tradition, the birds and the bees is a metaphorical story, sometimes told to children in an attempt to explain the mechanics and results of sexual intercourse through reference to easily observed natural events. For instance, bees carry and deposit pollen into a flower, a visible and easy to explain parallel to the way a man brings about fertilization.
Mm-hmm.
Female birds laying eggs is a similarly visible and easy to explain parallel to female ovulation.
See? You see, we learning on here today.
Yeah, on today.
That's good. Okay, now I feel more equipped as a future parent.
But yeah, I
You're
can remember, like,
talking about the birds and the bees.
birds and the bees, and I remember my mother talking to me about it and how, you know, you want to abstain from sexual intercourse without protection, because you can get a woman pregnant, you can actually get an STD, and then basically, like, if you have a child, your life will be about that child. It won't be about your hopes and dreams anymore.
Yep.
That was her mindset, and so hearing that was very scary, and so I was very scared of women in a certain way. Mm-hmm. But I think personally, and I grew up in a church, and I grew up under the teaching of you don't have sex until you get married, and
Purity culture.
I've never really prescribed to that because I don't know. I just felt like in the Bible, I never saw a wedding. I never read about a wedding. I never read about people saying I do. You know, it's so like I always said that I don't see that there's an issue between when you're having unprotected sex with someone that you are committed fully to. Mm-hmm. I don't think God worries about, well, did you go through a wedding ceremony? Did you put the ring on her finger? Did you get your dress? Did you have an open bar at the reception? I don't think God cares about that. I think God cares about is, did you choose the right person? Are you all committed to each other? And are you all in it for the long run? Mm-hmm. Whether you all are married or not. And I feel like that is enough.
I agree with that for several reasons. I want to give you 5 myths that come from...
get some water while you're saying that.
5 myths that come from purity culture. Myth number 1, the spiritual barometer myth. The spiritual barometer myth says that what matters most about a person is his or her virginity. In other words, purity culture implies and sometimes even directly claims that a believer's sexual history is the primary mark of their spiritual status. Purity is often used to measure faith and to judge how good of a Christian someone is compared to others. Rather than knowing Christians by their relationship with God, purity culture asserts that we will know them by their virginity. That's myth number 1. Myth number 2 is the fairy tale myth. Okay? In the 1900s, we were full of Christian books that promised happily ever afters to girls who remained pure, prayed for a Christian husband, and avoided casual dating. We believe that as long as we waited to have sex, God would bless us with a good Christian husband who met every criteria on the lengthy future spouse checklist that our youth group leaders encouraged us to write. That's number 2. Number 3, this is my favorite one. Myth 3 is the flip switch method. The flip switch message teaches Christians that if they remain pure before marriage, they'll be able to flip the switch on their wedding night and have an instantaneously amazing sex life. As many disappointed, disillusioned Christian couples have discovered, this is often far from the truth. Without proper preparation, education, and communication, a fulfilling sex life is not the norm for many newly married Christians. Number 4, the damaged good myth. This is a big one. I think a lot of black kids deal with this.
Okay.
If we buy into the ideas that 1, virginity determines salvation and or spiritual mortality, maturity, 2, that we are owed a fairy tale marriage, and 3, that we'll enjoy amazing sex life because we waited, then we likely accept the damaged goods myth 2. Myth 4 says that we're soiled and damaged goods if we do have premarital sex, especially if you are a woman. Purity cultures uses all sorts of analogies, metaphors, and stories to illustrate this toxic myth. We're likened to chipped teacups or soiled napkins. We're cups of water tainted with spit. We are shredded piece of heart-shaped papers, and the pieces represents the part of our hearts that we gave away when we have sex to other people.
Is that the whole soul tie thing?
Kind of. That's a part of the soul tie. And then myth 5 is the woman as gatekeepers myth. You cannot fully understand the purity movement without examining the context in which it was born. Patriarchy. The measures of purity cultures are rooted in patriarchal theology and traditional gender roles. According to this work theology, women are asexual and don't want or enjoy sex as much as men. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at nobody's stuff. It's just funny to me. Sex is primarily to meet the man's sexual needs and urges, and a woman should perform their wifely duties cheerfully, willfully, and enthusiastically. Purity culture claims that all men have high sex drives and can't help but sexualize women, and can't control themselves or be held responsible for their sexual desires. Because women are apparently less sexual, they are expected to gatekeep men's sexuality. Because men can't control themselves, women are responsible for the men's lust. Imagine the shame felt by women and men who don't conform to these rigid gender stereotypes. Purity culture causes them to believe that there is something wrong with them because they don't fit into these narrow modes.
That was a lot.
So what do you think about those myths?
For me, I hear a lot. I get a lot of energy from. I get the undertone of men policing women's bodies and telling them what is considered appropriate. And I'm pretty sure these men were out here doing whatever they wanted to do.
But that's what they say on the myth 5.
Yeah, I don't see.
Men don't have no control.
I don't see a lot of men being told to save themselves, to save your virginity. This society frowns upon men who are virgins.
Yep.
This society desires women who are virgins.
Yep. That's purity culture.
Yeah, and so I think it's unfair to women because it places you all in this box that you are not sexual beings when you were blessed with sexual hormones and feelings and pleasure areas. You all were blessed with the same things we were blessed with. But yet women are not allowed to fully embrace themselves fully.
I think it's unfair to men too, because there are men who may not be sexually liberated or want to do all of that, and they're pressure put on them. Like you said, I remember I was talking to Demo, and she was talking about a story that she came across on TikTok about this kid, I think he was like 14 or 15 years old, was getting bullied by 6 boys. And so he slept with all their mamas.
Damn.
You know, for revenge. And everybody was like, that's how you do it. Yeah, that's how you do it. You boss up like a man. That's how you do it. And you take your power back. And she was like, that's pedophilia. Those are grown people. That's a baby.
Right. Right.
Is what that is. That's what that is. That like, y'all telling him to do that. Like, would you tell your daughter to do that?
No, not at all. They were trying to kill the man that the daughter stuck with.
But y'all got these 4 grown women sleeping with this child.
Same thing with these women, these teachers that have sex with these students in the schools. When it's a woman having sex with a boy, a lot of times they're applauded. The boy is applauded like, "Oh, dang, you did it. How'd you get hurt?" Mm-hmm. But if it's a man having sex with an underage girl, then it's like, "Oh, you're sick, you pig." Mm-hmm. You know, it's just so many double standards in this world. But yeah, a lot of those statements, you know, why I asked you about like the one about soul ties, like I don't know about all this stuff.
Soul ties?
I don't know. I do believe that when you have sex with someone, you're exchanging energies and you're exchanging a lot of yourself. And if you continuously give because you're sharing your body. Your body, like
your body is literally inside of somebody else's body.
Like you all as close physically as you could possibly be.
You inside of them.
You're inside of them. The person is on you. Like you're as close as you can get. And so I feel like you do. That's why a lot of times when people are having sex out here and they're not necessarily caring about who they're having sex with, you can in my experience, not saying everybody, I mean, in my experience, a lot of those people, you can see that they are losing themselves.
You can see it on their face.
You can see that they're deteriorating. Not physically in terms of like they're getting sick or whatever, but you can tell spiritually they're dying. And I think that that's because their conscience knows that this is not right. Whether it's a man or a female. But people will try their best to ignore that. And they'll fight against that because society, I think it's probably harder for women to fight it because society frowns upon that for women. But for men, it's a little bit harder to be ashamed of it because society pats you in the back for it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a part of it too.
Yeah, I can understand that. What do I think about society patting men on the back about it?
Just about all the myths that you read. Like anything stick out to you?
Shoot, I think all of them stick out to me because I lived it. I literally lived that. Growing up in the church and being a female and not having sex. I remember being afraid when I went away to college and I had sex for the first time. I remember being afraid of what people gonna think when they find out that I'm having sex. Whole adult at this point, big adult energy. Still like
paying bills and everything.
Yeah, paying for real. Ain't filing my own taxes. Still like, what are they gonna think?
Yeah.
And then this whole notion of a man is gonna feel some sort of way about me if I have sex with other people, or this whole situation of your number, how many people you have. Like, men don't even count how many people they done slept with. Women count. That's a byproduct of purity culture. Why women count. Because that whole notion of, like they were saying, each tick that you have somehow makes you a little less pure. That's why you don't want to have this big number, because nobody wants an unpure woman to marry.
They don't want, because the higher your number, the more a man is likely to think, oh, you probably a hoe.
But that's attached to purity culture.
Yeah. I can agree to that.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's like it becomes.
I think we all are a victim of it. You know,
we all
especially
are.
like me. I know that I've had my judgments of women, like, oh man, like when a woman would tell me that they've slept with this person or this person, part of me is like,
But we've been trained that way.
yeah, we've been trained that way. Yeah,
We've been trained that way. That's the part of it. It's like we've been trained that way. A lot of us are living with a lot of stress and anguish and things like that, but we don't understand why we're living with it. We're living with that because we've been trained that this is how things are supposed to go, or whatever the case may be.
so that little Nkiru in college that is feeling like she can't fully embrace who she is, how do we help that person?
That was the next question. What is
Oh,
the alternative?
you flowing.
Look at you.
How do we help that person? How do we help that Tony in college that's like, I don't want to sleep with a bunch of women, and I don't want to be being made fun of because I don't.
I don't know what a better alternative is, but one thing that I can say is there's nothing wrong with you feeling your feelings the way however you feel them.
Yeah.
Because I will never forget my first time. There was so much stuff that I didn't know. Like, I really did not grasp and understand the concept of the cherry and all of that. Had no idea about that. So when I had my first time, I was freaking the fuck out. And I just knew, that's it. The Lord is punishing me right now.
You didn't know about your body.
Because I didn't, because I was...
nobody was going to teach you that if they felt like, oh,
Well, because...
you don't need to know about that because you ain't supposed to be out here
Yeah,
doing
because
that anyway.
I was following abstinence. So when you follow abstinence, you don't get educated,
You don't get
period.
that. You don't get the full education.
Because
you get
you're...
education up to a point.
Because you're in abstinence. But the problem, like that whole switch, like I told you, that's my favorite one. That switch, that does not exist. If you don't know anything about it, you cannot switch on and become something that you don't know about it. You have to learn. Like, you really have to learn. And I don't give a damn how hard it is for y'all to hear this. You have to learn. You can't expect to become something without learning how to become it.
Yeah.
So, feel your feelings, baby girl, baby boy. Feel your feelings. Don't feel bad about feeling your feelings, and ask questions. That's the best advice I can give, because I don't have an alternative, because I didn't live an alternative. I literally was this kid. I'm the kid that I'm talking to. You know what I mean? I went through the whole, I followed all the rules.
Yeah.
You know? And it didn't really serve me too well, you know? So, because what happens is, you get on the other side, and you're not really experienced about anything. And nobody wants the burden to educate you.
Which is so backwards because
It is. It's fucking
you're supposed to learn your partner. You're not supposed to come already made. You're supposed to, because okay.
But that's the
a
thing.
personal thing.
Not
Like,
only are you supposed to learn your partner, it's hard to learn your partner when your partner hasn't learned themselves.
exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody wants the burden of
How
dealing
do you
with
learn yourself without being involved?
by
with
being
multiple people?
educated about it. You don't have to have sex to be educated
Okay.
about sex.
Okay.
That's, I feel like, the biggest.
So when you say learn yourself, like just learn your body.
Learn your body.
Yeah.
You don't have to have sex with another person to know who you are, know what's going on, know what's on your body. When I say didn't know, didn't know.
Didn't know.
If I wasn't down there to use
Like,
the...
ooh, what's that?
Listen, if I wasn't down there for monthly or bathroom, then I got no reason to be doing nothing.
Wow.
Seriously, but that's a part of abstinence culture. That's a part of that. And so it's like, but when you get to that other side, it even becomes more dangerous, because the very first person that you deal with, that's a soul tie.
Okay.
That's a big soul tie, because this person is teaching you something about yourself you don't even know about yourself.
So now that person is connected to you forever.
And now you're connected to that person forever. Because it's like having a monumental moment. Like, you never forget the very first time that you go to New York or California or something like that. And when you think about those times, what do you think about? What you did, who you were there with. That's the equivalent of what a soul tie is. When you have monumental moments, you always think of that person, no matter what. That's why they say, "Oh, your virginity is so important. Don't give it to anybody." That's because that first person, you're gonna create a soul tie with that person, no matter who it is. But if you have a better understanding of what you're doing and what you're less likely to just do whatever. You're less likely to do whatever with whoever. And you're more educated about the decisions that you're making.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Where do you feel that masturbation plays in learning yourself in purity culture?
Oh, Lord. Child, why Tony doing this to me today? I don't know.
It was interesting because I know in the Breakfast Club, they had played a clip where this class of first graders were being taught about masturbation.
I think that
they were trying to say that they were asking the question of, is first grade too young to be teaching children about masturbation?
I think it is. I didn't even learn about a period until 4th and 5th grade. And the only reason why I learned about my period in 4th and 5th grade was because it was about time for me to get a period soon. And they didn't want me to just be randomly bleeding and be freaking out.
Yeah.
First grade, why?
Well, I will say this. Children actually start masturbating as babies. You see a lot of boys putting their hands down their pants. You might see little girls rubbing their vulva against things because they are starting to experience that, oh, this feels pleasurable.
This feels something.
And as a boy, I have 2 boys myself. They always got their hands in their pants. And it's okay. It's natural. It's natural for them. It's your body. It's your body. You feel something in your body. The way you touch it feels good. You want to explore that more. Perfectly fine. And so I don't know. I don't think that it's wrong to teach children about masturbation. I don't know the context of what they were teaching. I don't know if they were teaching them this is how you masturbate. Now, I think that's excessive.
I just think
let that be about the parents.
That's where I'm at. I feel like certain things should be left to parents, and certain things do not need to be taught in a group setting because you don't understand the values in the personal family situations that that parent is raising that child in. And I feel like a lot of things in a lot of these schools are honestly disrespecting parents because they don't take into account that parent's timeline.
Yeah.
There's some things that, yes, children need to understand, children need to know by a certain age. But back in my day, I sound old as hell. I hadn't said it now.
Back in my day.
But for real, back in my day when it was stuff like that,
We used to have radios on our buses.
we did. Shout out to Ryder. But we used to have classes about drugs, classes about
At the DARE.
the DARE program. We had we had sex ed. We had the puberty class or whatnot. But for all of those classes, you had to get a permission slip.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
Rockwood
now
back
you
in
need a permission slip to opt out.
Yeah, back in those days when we were doing anything, it's okay, she can have it. We were doing
I think
anything.
it fell on her butt.
She all right.
She didn't feel it.
If we were doing anything back in those days, the parents were notified, and that child had to have a permission slip signed. If that child didn't turn that permission slip in, then that child was sent to another class while the other kids was doing whatever, and the child was doing something different because that was respect for that parent. Or the parent.
Yeah, I learned in 7th grade.
I learned
But
this.
my mom taught me about the birds and the bees when I was 9.
I learned about sex in probably seventh grade, but I learned about puberty in the 4th grade, and I learned about drugs in the 5th grade.
I don't remember when I learned about puberty.
Cause they had at Rockwood School Districts, they had a class where they in the 4th grade they split up all the boys and all the girls, and we went to a separate class. And they
You were in Rockwood though.
Yeah, and they taught you They taught you about stuff, you know, like they taught the girls, all the girls together, about training bras and periods and things like that. They taught us about that. And you know, all of that. They taught the boys about, you know, puberty and sweat and things of that nature, hygiene and stuff like that. It was just a class about learning stuff. And they gave us like a little thing. They had pads in it and stuff like that. So that way when it happened, we wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Because of course, as a child, first thing you're going to do is get your mom. But you don't want to be traumatized before you get your mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you don't know what to do, or maybe you're not with your mom. So they gave us these things that we kept with us, so that way if we was at school and we had it, we wouldn't feel like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's important to teach children
Certain things.
I think that, yes, I do believe that I believe it undermines parents sometimes, especially because some parents would like to be the person that the child talks to. But there are also a lot of children out there who don't have parents that are willing to talk to them. I mean, you can post. I've seen a few posts on Facebook where people are like, "I would never talk to my child about masturbation," or "I won't talk to my child about sex," or you have parents who are like, "I'm just going to not even talk about it." Some people are so nervous to talk to their kids about sex. They gonna have sex anyway.
Yeah.
One day, your daughter is gonna be throwing it back. One day, your son is gonna be pile driving. He's gonna be pound tounding. It's okay. That's part of life. So teach them the proper way to do it. Teach them a safe way to do it, so that they don't do something that hurts them in the future.
Teach them values. One thing, my brother, shout out to my brother.
My brother.
He always talks about problem with gun violence and how people say they have a problem with guns. And he was like, the reason why you have a lot of kids utilizing guns and hurting people with guns is because they're curious about it. He said, but if you take a child and you train them on how to use a gun safety and things of that nature, they're less likely, if they encounter a gun, to play around with it. Because you've educated them. A lot of times children do things unknowingly because they're curious and they're uneducated about things. But if you educate them about things, that training kicks in. Oh, my mama taught me about this. My daddy taught me about this. That stuff they was talking about. No, I don't want to do that. Or no, my mama said this. You know, I need to wait till I'm an adult.
Yeah.
To doing that. But if you don't know, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to put your thing in this? Okay. They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. And they're curious, like you said, you know. And so that's why I say I would not hide stuff from your children. I think that sex education is something that it's a curriculum that's always growing.
Yeah.
Just like you have kindergarten math, first grade math, second grade math, third grade
kindergarten math.
They're learning like numbers and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm finna say, what the hell?
But they learn one thing, they build on it. They learn another thing, they build on it. Sex is the same thing. They start out by learning their body parts.
Yeah.
You have a penis, you have a vagina, and you learn about that. And then as time goes on, you learn about, properly taking care of that. Different parts of it. I didn't learn a lot about my penis until college when I took human sexuality. I had no idea what a vas deferens was. I knew I had a penis.
I did not think he was finna say college, y'all.
I said penis.
I'm just out of here.
Knew was penis and balls. That's all I knew. I didn't know nothing about no vas deferens. I didn't know nothing about no urethra. I knew nothing about none of that. I didn't even know what the purpose of a lot of that stuff was. I had no idea. I never knew.
Hollering. He said, I ain't know the college thing.
I think that not having, and my mom, she gave me the bare minimum. I think my mom was more of a fear-based tactic. She was like, look, don't have sex. Yeah. If you have sex, you could either get a girl pregnant and then you have a baby.
I went through that.
Now you ain't gonna be able to do what you want to do with your life.
I went through that.
Or you can get an STD.
I went through that. My sister definitely.
Like,
my sister delivered that message to me while she was pregnant. I said, ooh, shit, won't be doing that.
Yeah, I remember even in high school. I mean, it's funny now, but like I remember in high school, like I was so afraid of girls. I wasn't afraid of girls in terms of talking to them. I was afraid of possibly getting to the place where we might have sex.
I was never afraid of that. Nobody was talking to me.
I was perfectly fine with kissing, but don't go no further than that. Don't get the touching, because I'm terrified. And if there was a girl that was interested in me, that I had any inkling that was experiencing that area, nope. I was nope. Don't want it. Don't even want to go down that road.
Don't want your ovaries
I didn't. Honestly, I didn't even. I did not even lose my virginity until senior year of high school. So, and I dated this girl for months before we ever did it. So, like, I just always was very scared of that, but it was because of my upbringing. It was because of how I was taught.
Yeah.
I wasn't taught about, okay, instead of having sex, you can do this. You can do masturbation is a good way to release that sexual tension that you're experiencing without the actual getting involved with someone. Because sometimes the kids are horny. They are ready to have. They need to release, and they don't know how to. They can't do it on their own because nobody teaches them. Oh, don't touch yourself. Go get your hands out of your pants. You're denigrated for it.
Yeah.
Girls are not taught how to pleasure themselves.
Nope.
It's like, no, we're not teaching them how to pleasure themselves. No, why not?
Because women are not supposed to get pleasure. You ain't hear what I read.
I remember boys used to make fun of other boys, and they would say, "You out there jacking off." I didn't know what that was at the time. I'm like, jacking off? Why is that so bad?
What did you think it was?
Well, I knew what it was per se, just from context clues. But I had never done it. So I thought it was something bad because boys would say it in a negative way. And so I always thought it was something bad. But had I had some education that this is actually healthy, it would have helped me going forward. And I think it probably helped a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Knowing that they had options.
I feel like being in the black community, because the black community is so heavily rooted in Christianity, purity is a big thing. And that's like the biggest
so rooted in
hurdle.
I think you said black church?
Yeah, rooted in Christianity.
I think a lot of the black church is rooted in tradition.
Yeah.
Because if you actually read a lot of the Bible itself,
none of it's in there.
You learn a lot of stuff that it was taught to you is not even in the Bible.
I'm telling you.
I remember, and this is totally off the topic, but it's interesting because I remember being taught that if you commit suicide, you're going straight to hell.
I remember being taught that too.
I was like, dang, because it's the ultimate sin. You can't repent for it. You can't ask for forgiveness for it. Okay.
Actually, the ultimate sin that you can't ask for forgiveness for, according to the Bible, is knowingly misleading and leading astray another.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because people do that shit all day.
But the thing is, the Bible says that Jesus died for our sins. He gave us the ability to repent. He gave us the ability to be forgiven for our sins because he paid the ultimate price. So, if that's the case, and you commit a sin, doesn't that mean you don't go to hell because you've been forgiven?
I guess they say you ain't here to ask for forgiveness because you out of here.
How many sins that we commit daily that we don't ask for forgiveness for?
Child.
So because I didn't ask God to forgive me for lying on my brother when I was 5 years old,
no, you went to the altar and laid it all there, so all of that's blanketed.
I was saved before then.
They used the blood of Jesus and painted all of that out your book.
Yeah,
that don't exist no more.
So like it's so much stuff that is being taught. There's this tradition of thought instead of actually being based in literature.
Based in any sort of anything. And,
yeah.
And so it's like when
I kind of get offended sometimes when people talk about Christianity because it's just like, I mean, not because I'm a Christian, but I feel like a lot of times people when they say Christianity, they're talking about the people. They're not talking about the Word of God, because the Word of God doesn't necessarily say.
Because the Word of God is not just for Christianity.
Yeah.
The Word of God is utilized by several people.
Right.
But that's why people say when people are talking about Christianity, they are in every way just talking about the people. They are not talking about the Word of God. They're talking about the people, because people think that just because you read the Bible, that makes you a Christian. There are so many people that read the Bible. There are so many people that follow the Bible. There are people who follow Jesus and don't believe in Christianity. Have you ever heard of agape?
Agape. It's a type of relationship. Oh.
Agapes. These are a type of people.
Okay.
It's literally like what Jesus was. Because Jesus wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
So this is what Jesus was, quote unquote, considered when you look at him as a person, was an agapes. Because an agapes is a person who believes that love is the highest morale over everything else. There's nothing that is more important than love. You know what I mean? And that's how Jesus lived his life, is that love is, he spoke about that in Matthew, that there's no greater commandment than to love God as you love yourself, love your neighbors as you love yourself. In doing this, you've kept all the commandments. That's what you got to do. Love is the most important thing. You know what I mean? And these people follow the Bible. They follow Jesus. They follow the Bible, but they are not Christian. People just assume there's a monopoly on the Bible, that only Christians. No, the first 5 books of the Bible are followed by Jews. You know what I mean? There are all kinds of people who follow books and teachings and things that are in the Bible who are not Christians. So when people say Christianity, they are in every way talking about the people and the customs of that particular sect, and not necessarily the Word of God. There are several people who follow the Word of God who do not subscribe to Christianity.
Yeah.
And there are several people who follow Christ that doesn't subscribe to Christianity.
I guess I look at Christianity as you're a person who believes in Jesus Christ in the way that he lived his life. And you follow that because he was the embodiment of God's word.
And that can be true. But also you can be a person who believes in all of that and do not believe in Christianity. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. There are several.
So when you say Christianity, you're talking about the people. You're not talking about the thought.
Absolutely
like
not, because
the school of thought.
Because it's not necessarily the school of thought. It's the spiritual writings. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So but there are several people. Hold on, I'm finna give you. It says agapeism is a belief of selfless, charitable, non-erotic, brotherly love, spiritual love, love of soul, and can mean the belief that such love should be the sole ultimate value, and that all other values are derived from it, or that the sole moral imperative is to love. These are people who believe in, they respect and believe in Jesus also, because he is a person that walked according to those principles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, but we have been taught that there's only one way, that we don't realize we have a very narrow view of things. You know what I mean? There are several people, just because I don't claim to be a Christian or don't sign myself up on this line of all of this other but BS, the traditional BS that has nothing to do with anything based in the word, but just if it was good enough for Grandma Esther, it's good enough.
They call it heresy.
Just because I don't want to subscribe to that does not mean that I somehow have no reverence for anything else. That's not how it works.
It's so funny because in the Bible you have people, they call those people Pharisees.
They do call them Pharisees, and I try not to.
People who they would be your modern day Christians.
Absolutely, and this is actually the reason why I was called out of the church.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
But you know, I try not to say that because I don't want to trigger nobody. But it was exactly the reason why I was called out of the church.
Yeah,
because starting to look very pharisaical and a lot less like the walk of what Christ is doing. So for me, I rather walk closer to what Christ is doing than look like I'm walking and not.
Yeah.
So
I understand that.
I don't even know how we got. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but good conversation.
That was my
So-
last question.
So, I mean, we had going on 3 hours.
No, 2 hours.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. a little over 2 hours. So I think this is a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
If
get
you
these
will, hold on,
affirmations
get
in
my
this journal
computer
prop.
going.
So the affirmations for the day. You ready, T? T ready for his
hold up.
weekly challenge?
Weekly challenge. Hold on.
I'll make it hard for you this week. I ain't gonna
Lord.
read real slow.
Lord. All right, I'm ready.
Affirmation number 1.
Hold on. Whoa.
I am enough.
What? Got it.
I am enough. I am enough. That's why I didn't stop, because I knew it was short. Affirmation 2. I am striving for my best. I'm striving for what is best for me. I am striving
Ma'am.
for what is best for me.
All right.
I am striving for what is best for me. Affirmation number 3 is I am worthy of all I desire, flaws and all.
Oh,
I am worthy of all I desire, flaws and all. I am worthy of all I desire, flaws and all. And those are your affirmations for this week.
And those are your affirmations of this week.
Yes.
A journal prompt. So,
I try to think of journal prompts of subjects that we talked about today. And I'm just thinking right now. And I'm thinking about just our conversation about when we were talking about Monique.
I knew
and-
it. Bonnets.
And accountability.
Yep.
And that really spoke to me today. And so I think my journal prompt today is, what is something that you should be holding yourself accountable for? And are you doing so? If not, what is stopping you? So the journal prompt today, I'll read it again, is, what is something that you should be holding yourself accountable for? And I think that's what I say. Are you holding yourself? Are you holding yourself accountable? And if not, what is stopping you?
That's a good one. I really hope that y'all are utilizing this journal
Yeah,
prompts.
man. It's really. And sometimes you don't even have to write in your journal. Sometimes,
Just
say
think
for
about
instance, sometimes you can just get together with your friends and just pose it as a question in a group. Like that could be journal. That can be you using your journal prompt.
But
too.
you can journal in all kinds of ways. Video
Yeah.
journal, you can dialogue journal. It's just a way for you to talk about topics that you wouldn't even think about talking about. These are exercises that help you focus on building your self-care, your self-esteem, your self-love. Doing these journaling exercises are actually helping you figure out your triggers, figure you out. But if you don't want to do that, you're going to figure them out in more triggering ways when you are encountering things that are unpleasant to you. Now all of a sudden you're being introduced with things that you don't like. When if you would have taken some time to study yourself, get to know yourself, you would know where you would know where the minds are, instead of out here playing mind sweep.
Mind sweep.
That game was trash.
I hated that game. I didn't understand it. I always lost too.
Game was trash.
It's like a
can.
probability game. It's a guessing game.
It took me so many years to understand what the hell them numbers was for.
You the scientist.
I got it now,
You
but
got
it
it now?
took me
Okay.
so many years to understand what the hell is this green 5 for? Why is it a red 4? What does this mean?
Okay. Well, anything else before we go today? Anything else on our agenda?
No, I love you.
Yeah.
That's all I got to my people.
Oh, I'm like, oh.
Not to
thank
you.
Dang.
Well, I
okay.
mean, I love you
It's
too,
like
T.
that too. Okay.
He said, "Well, dang, well, then I don't love you."
I don't know. I'm confused right now. I
All I
don't know how
got
to
left,
feel.
all I got left is for my people. Is I love you.
Oh man. Well,
I know
shoot.
we kind of touched on some tough things today. You know,
We did. I mean,
I did. I was kind of harsh.
what the heart? I mean, it's real. You know, you was.
Well, Monique was softer than me, and she got blasted. So I got to say, I love you at the end.
Yeah. I mean, people, like I said, you could be the most nicest, kindest, humblest person in the world. People are always going to find a reason to be outraged.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter. You know.
I don't know if I said this last week, but if I did, act like you ain't hear it, I'm going to say it again. My good friend Monica taught me something very important. She taught me a lesson a year ago. She's 6 years my junior. So
No one knows what it means.
6 years my junior means that she is 6 years younger than me. So I say that
So
to say
6 years, a senior would be someone 6 years older.
yes. So when
Why not
I
just say 6 years old? Why you gotta add all these words?
cause it just sounds better. So
The whole paragraph.
6 years
Just
my
say
junior.
6 years older than.
6 years because she's 6 years younger than me.
No,
She's
I'm
6
saying.
years my junior.
See, you throwing me off.
So I bring that up to say that it doesn't matter who, anybody can teach you something. Doesn't matter how old they are or whatever. Like people feel like you have to be anybody can teach you anything if you're open to learn.
Yes.
So that was the reason why I bring that up, that she's 6 years my junior. But she taught me a lesson that changed the trajectory of my entire life. She said, Cherie, that's my real name if y'all didn't know
It's a
by now.
government.
It's my government. She said, be the sun. And I didn't understand what she meant by that. She said, be the sun. You need to be the sun. She said, you have this thing where you don't want to be the sun. I'm a Leo, and our ruling planet is the sun. But she was like, you're meant to be the sun, and you don't want to be the sun. She was like, you know, the sun is sent here to give us life, give us light, give us nourishment, you know, to grow things. Warmth, that's what the sun is meant to do. The sun does not give a damn that I'm down here talking about something. Oh, it's hot. The sun not up there being like, oh, well, I need to shine a little less because Cherie is hot down there. No, the sun is the sun. The sun is shining light on what needs to be shined light on. If you don't like that what is in the light is in the light, then you will make an adjustment. If you don't like standing in the hot sun, then you go and you make an adjustment. You get in the AC. You go indoors. You get yourself an umbrella, a hat, sunglasses. You make the adjustment. The sun does not make the adjustment. And sometimes in life, somebody has got to be the sun. Somebody has got to shine light on a situation so that an adjustment can be made. And people just don't want the adjustment to be made. Yeah, I want the sun. Y'all want to put a temperature gauge on the sun and control the sun, and it
Right.
just don't work that way.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yep.
And sometimes you got to be the sun.
Yep. Wise words from Demo,
That's right.
and you know some wise words that my mom always just tell me. Boy, if you don't get up and wash them dishes.
Wise words Tony always
Wise
said
words.
to his mama. Mama, is them hot dogs ready yet?
Mama, that chicken ready yet?
Mama, that chicken ready yet?
It's not eat yet? Oh man. All right, y'all.
We love y'all.
We had a great time today. Feel free to like, comment, and
Share,
share
please.
and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google. We everywhere.
And we are going to be doing something new starting next week.
Uh-oh.
Tony doesn't know about this, but he's
surprised.
finding
I'm
out
like,
right
hold on,
now.
What?
So the first person to share this podcast from our Facebook page, we will shout you out on our next podcast next week.
Oh!
It's a race.
Yes.
It's a race. The
And if it's
first
somebody I
share-
know, I'm going to share a personal story about you.
Yes,
so.
the first share that we get from the Self Love Society 13 page of this podcast that is not from Mr. Tony Gillen, licensed professional, or me and Carol the Love Guru, that is from someone else that is listening in, we will give you a personal shout out on the next episode.
Yes. Yes. And so when you share it, make sure you put down your Instagram handle, your Facebook handle, Snapchat, or whatever, and we'll shout you out and get people to follow you. So,
Oh, yeah, because we got to grow this family.
yes.
We,
So,
we love y'all.
we love you all. Have a good evening and be safe.
Bye.
Bye.